What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and we continue to look at the 2021 FPI rankings. ESPN has released their preseason FPI rankings, and we're going to take a look at the Clemson Tigers, see where they stack up in the FPI. And again, this is a team that is right there at 1, 2, or 3 pretty much every single year. I was a little bit surprised that they were not number 1 or number 2 this year. They actually come in at number 3. Clemson number 3 in the FPI rankings, behind Alabama and Oklahoma. Their FPI is 23.5. That means against an average team on a neutral field, they would win by 23.5 points. If you want to know what the FBI thinks, who they think is an average team, we're talking about Colorado. Colorado is basically an average team according to the FBI. So Clemson would beat them by about 24 points on a neutral field. Number 3 in these FBI rankings, let's take a look at what else the FBI says about Clemson. Their projected win-loss record is 11.5 and 1.4, and that would include a potential ACC championship game. The FBI does go through the conference championship games. They don't go past that, though. And you can kind of just put these losses, the percentages here together, and it kind of tells you that this team would have about a 90% chance just to make it into the ACC championship. So this is a team that is pretty much guaranteed a shot in the college in the ACC championship, I should say, not the college football playoff. This is a team that should make it in there. It would be a big surprise if any other team, and you look at the division, who else in the Atlantic division is going to challenge Clemson? I mean, there's really no one. That's why that percentage is so high. But they're expecting them to lose 1 game, maybe 2 games, including the ACC championship. If they get past Georgia in that opener, though, it's hard to imagine this Clemson team losing a game. And I get it, the ACC championship could be a little bit more competitive this year. A lot of people eyeing North Carolina. I think Miami is another team you got to watch out for. But that is their projection. They have a 21% chance to win out, to go undefeated. That's down from what we usually see with Clemson just because of that one game. It's that one game against Georgia, another top 10 team in the non-conference. That right there is going to knock this percentage down a good bit. Plus, like I mentioned, some good teams in that Coastal Division that could challenge them. But still, a 21% chance to go undefeated. That is a really high number. It is among the best out of all the teams in the FPI. So actually, I think it might be number 1. Yeah, Clemson 21%. That is the highest percentage. So they have the best chance to go undefeated, a better chance than any other team in college football. Next team is Alabama at 16%. So this is a team that has a great shot of going undefeated. And again, the FBI, they have them at number 3, but if any team is going to go undefeated this year, the FBI thinks it will be Clemson. Win 6 games or more, 100%. This team is going to make a bowl game. Obviously, we all know that. Win the division. I just talked about it being about 90%. Well, there's your exact number. 89.3% chance that Clemson wins the Atlantic division. This is based off of like 20,000 simulations. So, of course, sometimes you're going to get some other teams. You know, Florida State's interesting with all their transfers coming in. Boston College, NC State are going to be decent teams this year. Pretty good teams, I should say. So, yeah, I mean, things happen. You could see potentially them somehow not winning this division, but 89.3% is pretty much a guarantee, or at least, really close. How about winning the ACC? The number does drop a little bit, 72.1% chance to win the ACC. Like I mentioned, I mean, you got 2 good teams in that Coastal Division. I really like this North Carolina team. I really like this Miami team. I think they both can play with Clemson. I'm not saying they could beat them. But I think they can play with them. And when you talk about that game potentially in the ACC championship, if you asked me what's a greater chance for Clemson, losing in the ACC championship or losing a regular season ACC game, if you combine all the games together, I still would tell you they have a better chance of losing the ACC championship game than they do losing any regular season conference game, because they're going to just be favored by so much in all of those regular season games. So 72.1% chance to win the ACC for Clemson. Then we go to the playoff. They have a 64.6% chance to make the college football playoff. So this team is expected to be there again, more than a 50% chance I believe they're number 3 in the playoff percentage, just like their FPI ranking there at number 3 as well. Make the national championship, so make it to, not win, but make it to the national championship game, 32.1% chance. That's a really good percentage. I mean, I think most teams would take 32.1% chance to make it into the national championship, and that is their percentage. And how about winning the national championship? 15.4% chance that this team will win the national championship in 2021. So a very high percentage there. I know 15.4 does not look all that high, but when we're talking about all the teams and all the contenders, that's still a really good shot to win the national championship. Clemson right there, 15.4% chance for the number 3 team according to the FPI.